Corporate Talk 101. Should you be buying from corporations, monopolies, or should you be buying locally, right? Should you be buying from these monopolized corporations such as Walmart and Meijer, or should you be buying locally? This is the problem with monopolies. Well, for one, right off the bat, it's a monopoly. That's the problem. When you have a monopoly such as Walmart, right, it takes away competition. Back in the day when there was local stores, they had to compete with each other, right? So the competition lowers the price. Just like cars, for example. If there's Chrysler and there's Ford and there's Toyota and they're all putting out a similar car, they're going to compete with each other. So that competition is going to lower the price because whoever's got the lowest price at the best value is going to make the profit. Well, it's getting to the point where the competition is, there's no competition. You know, I mean, there is slight competition between Meijer and Walmart and things like that, but it's getting to the point where it is it's getting closer and closer to turning into one store. And when there's one superstore for everything, then there's going to be no competition, so that they're eventually going to be able to raise the prices, right? Because you have nowhere else to go. There's no other competition. So, also, another problem with corporations is that they bring in a ton of profit, but they hardly disperse that profit at all within their employees, right? Their employees get minimum wage, and they're at the very, very bottom of that pyramid, and the person at the top, you know, Wally himself, Walmart or whatever, is getting the majority of the profit, right? Now, why is that a problem? Well, you have tons of customers going in, and hardly any tons of customers spending money, or tons of people in the economy spending money, and hardly any of it's coming back to the people. It's mostly just going to the very top of the top of the top. So that's the problem, right? And there's a lot of other problems, but those are some of the major problems. Now, most importantly, what can you do? What can you do to solve this? What can you do to help the economy? What can you do, right? Well, for one, the best thing that you could possibly do would be when it comes to food specifically, would be grow your own food. You grow your own food, and you don't need anybody, and you don't have to put your money into that machine, into that beast, right? But for some people, that's not practical in the situation that they're in. You can, if that's the case, you can go to farmers markets, right? Farmers markets are great. You're supporting your local farmers. Most of the time, honestly, the prices are about the same, and you're getting better quality anyway. So, for example, I just bought a cantaloupe for $3, right? Now, there's cantaloupes go at Walmart for about $2, but the cantaloupe I got was organic, plus it was almost twice the size for an extra $1. And it was just amazing. And it supported a local farmer, right? And now that money that you're giving the local farmer is going to go directly back into the economy, because you are giving him all the money you give him is his. It's not like in Walmart where you buy a cantaloupe for $2, and $1.50 of that is going to go up to the top guy, and then the other little 50 cents is going to be dispersed. You know what I'm saying? Dispersed between the employees. So when you're buying locally, you're directly giving them the money. It's not dispersed between anything else. I mean, they have to pay taxes on their farm and things like that, but you're directly giving them the money. Okay. Other things you can do. You can go to thrift stores. Instead of buying clothes from Walmart and from all these other, you can go to thrift stores, right? And get just as good of clothes if you really look hard enough, okay? Other things that you can do to not support these large corporations is just to not buy things you don't need. I mean, it's one thing. I still go to Walmart every now and then. I still go to Meijer every now and then, but I buy things that I need, right? I buy things I need, and that's it. And it's not as much of an impact. It still impacts, but it's not as much of an impact because I'm buying solely what I need. So going to Walmart and just buying a whole bunch of stuff that you don't even need or anything, and you're just feeding that into the beast, and and that money is not coming back into the economy at all. It's just really, I mean, the majority of it is just going right up to the top guys. Okay, so you know, make your own things. Number one would be make your own things. Try to make your own soaps, make your own candles, make your own you can make your own clothes if you really get with it. Grow your own food, all these things. And take baby steps. If you can't grow your own food, try to go to farmers markets, even if you can go once a month. And instead of shopping once a month at the Walmart or Meijer or whatever it may be, then you go there. Okay? Then you go to the local farmers markets, right? Also garage sales and yard sales and all these things too. You're giving the money right back directly to the people, and in turn that's going to benefit you, because now that money is going to circulate. It's going to circulate. Whereas if you give it into these monopolized corporations, the money is hardly circulating whatsoever. Okay. What other things can you do? Just you know, if you just live simply, which the more simple you live, the more freedom you have, because you don't have to work for things you don't need. You live more simple, then you don't need to rely on these corporations for everything, right? So start small, and maybe just try to go to a farmer's market once a month, and then go from there, and you know, and try to grow your own things, try to make your own things. You know, that's how it was, and then if we can do that, it'll have less, you know, it won't have such a big impact. But if we keep going to these, if we keep relying on these superstores, eventually they will combine, and once they combine and they turn into one, I mean, that's pretty much what Walmart is, but there's still a couple other stores that give it a little bit of competition. But if they all combine, then there's going to be no competition whatsoever, and then eventually they're going to be able to raise the prices. And really, Walmart prices, I mean, they're all right, but they're not, like, amazing. Really, they're not amazing. I mean, you're still paying for something that you could just grow in the ground, okay? So you got to think about all these things, all right? Start small, you know, go to thrift stores, and give your stuff back to thrift stores too, you know? Instead of throwing it out, give it back to thrift stores and let that circulate, you know what I mean? So it's back to living in community. It's back to living with unity for every human being, okay? Corporate Talk 101, MC Me.